pile of stuff. And these are protein donuts. Watch me what?
It's like a donut in half.
I think I'm gonna cut it. These are protein donuts. Boom. Boom. Sugar whips, protein bakery. Sent me a bunch of this stuff. A bunch of just protein-based donuts. Oh.
You are now watching the best show in the universe. It is called The Anthony Rogers Show. You probably wish that this was your show. But it is not your show. It is The Anthony Rogers Show. Tell everyone you know to watch this show. Enjoy.
Welcome back to the greatest show in the entire universe. Today we have Uwe Boll and his dog. Legendary filmmaker. Basically just told me that he's writing Postal 2 right now. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I think 2020 was in a way the shittiest year ever, but at the same time, if you are basically locked up in your office, you come to like crazy ideas, what only fits into a movie like Postal 2, right? And for example, you asked like for a scene, like how you want to top the first one with the Al-Qaeda pilots. So, and I have a similar scene for Postal 2 starting, and this time they break into the cockpit, right? But the passengers, but then they like stop because the two terrorists don't have a mask on. You know?
Dude, that's hilarious.
And it would be unbelievable. You know, like they're like, ah, and then like, ah, you know, where is your mask? And they're talking even to the terrorists, and they're like looking for them, like, oh fuck, I actually forgot the face mask, and so they cannot overwhelm the terrorists. They just give up on them, and they're like, I'm not touching him. I'm not going close, and they have like hand sanitizers everywhere. I mean, it would be a great opening too, because people would think about Postal 1, right? When you have to do the same setup in the beginning, but then it has a different turnout, and that is one of the absurd things I was thinking about in bringing into Postal 2. I had more great ideas, like for example a motivational massacre speaker in Africa, you know, where you have like whatever the Tutsi against the Hutu, and they want to do the normal massacre with the machetes, want to kill everybody. But then we have a guy like he was actually like prepping them better. Like you know, if you do a massacre with machetes, the first thing is I see more and more in massacres that the machetes are not sharp. So you're hacking and hacking, but it has no fucking impact, and it's like then you yield. And you get like a slip disc, and you get back pain for weeks after. That doesn't have to be like so. And then he trains them how to move it right. Like for example, when people are on the ground, no, and then you have to kneel down. So I don't know why always the bad thing in me comes out when I'm sitting in front of the computer, but I just cannot help me. It's like I always think we have to go that far as the Saturday Night Live and all that not really funny bullshit, you know. So and I always feel like no, we have to like really push the envelope, you know. And scenes like this, what I do is similar to Postal 1. I'm writing down ideas and like a scene and a scene and a scene. I have no clue how to make the story in the end out of it, but I need the Postal dude back, of course. He survived with his girlfriend. They drove away with Champ. So these three are basically have to come back, and then we can have Osama bin Laden back. You know,
All the classics.
Yeah. It would be actually funny to do the whole Oval Office scene with Obama, like watching the storm on Osama bin Laden, and Osama bin Laden is in the room with him. So we copy him in, you know, like behind Hillary Clinton, and so we copy him in, like.
Dude, that's great. That's great.
It would be funny, you know. And now where George Bush double, Brent Mendenhall is dead. So we need to move forward. So we need an Obama double. We needed like a guy who looks like Obama, right?
What if you can get Obama, like actual Obama?
Maybe he plays it, right? Yes.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. Get the actual fucking president. That'd be crazy. And
Yeah,
for the listeners and the viewers at home, like Uwe Boll's on Postal. The beginning of Postal is basically during one of the 9/11 planes going into the towers. Like you find out like the terrorists take over the plane and like they're arguing on their phone about how many virgins they get in the next life. And as they go into the towers and like what he's saying, basically he's adding the masks to it. Basically is what he's saying. And yeah, so people like we'll put links to the trailers in the info section and stuff. But so that's awesome, man. That's great news. Like, like to be honest, like I literally just messaged Uwe and told him that he should make movies after like seeing everybody complain about Wonder Woman in my news feed. I was just like, this is sad. This is like the saddest day in film ever. And I'm like, I was like, you should make a movie. He's like, I already am. Like basically, like.
I mean, look, I just started watching the George Clooney film on Netflix, and I mean, it's just like all like boring. Right? As soon as I see like the future world in all that shows, it's like the end of the world actually happened already or whatever, and they're flying around, sitting on a empty space station somewhere, and the oxygen tank is slowly getting empty. I mean, it's just like I don't know what that all like should bring us, but they are not like engaging, interesting, entertaining movies, you know. And it's if you think about the upcoming Oscars, I mean, what Oscar in 2020, what movie should be even nominated for Best Picture?
Yeah, I think Psycho 8 was the only movie that came out this year. Like, it was like, I think it was the only film. No, like it's bullshit. I can't believe George. Yeah, I don't have the imagination to pretend George Clooney's not gay. Like, I still have. Like, look at him with this new leading lady. I'm like, he's totally. I don't know. It just seems like Rock Hudson or something, like a Rock Hudson hustle.
That was the guess till he got married, right? I mean, on the other hand,
I still think it.
George Travolta was married also. I mean, a lot of cover-ups still in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's like we're okay with it. We're okay. Like I don't care if George Clooney's gay, you know, or Tom Cruise, or I'm okay with it.
Yeah. No, I me too. It's like that is the thing where the Me Too makes really sense to say Me Too. That because it's like you have to feel like, you know what, like stand for it. You know, don't hide it only because you're a superstar or you play more like man parts, you know.
Right.
And, be proud of it or whatever, but it shouldn't affect your acting, you know. Like, I mean, Rock Hudson was a good actor. I like Rock Hudson, and I still believe his comedies with Doris Day or whatever, even if you know now in retrospective he was gay. And
I don't care who you date. I want you to make good movies. Like that's all that matters. Like I want your art to be good. That's all that matters. Yeah. But no, like, and then like Tom Cruise was like making a movie. It's like what? He's like yelling at his staff or something. It was like I couldn't imagine getting yelled at by a Scientologist. I just couldn't imagine. Like I was like, could you even imagine? What would you do if Tom Cruise yelled at you? Like,
I'm the wrong person, you know. I would say like, are you out of your fucking mind, you idiot? So I mean, when I heard the tape, right, and where I would interfere would be like that he never stops, right?
Yeah, he just keeps doing.
I told you 100,000. Whatever, like I know, like my mentality would be like after like 25 seconds, and he said it the third time, I would say it's okay. Take your medication. You know, they were standing on a computer 1.5 meters away from each other. The best is also a photo from Tom Cruise where he has actually two face masks on top, stapled on top of each other. Like I filter even my words out. I don't even know what that brings scientifically to have two face masks on. Only you cannot breathe at all anymore. But look, I always felt Tom Cruise is a hard worker. Everybody says he's a hard worker. He is a perfectionist, right? But for me, he's also a total retarded idiot. Well, always, because if you're really believing in that whole Scientology bullshit, I mean, you are really an idiot. I mean,
Definitely.
Like any other explanation. And I think even Ron Hubbard would laugh his ass off about it.
Dude, probably. That's hilarious. I never thought of. Yeah, you're probably right. And like, I think like Tom Cruise has to work hard because he's not smart.
It's also true. You know, like this kind of like you're so streamlined, and you basically even in your private life you look like the guy in Top Gun. You know, you have to be like everything is perfect on me. my body, my behavior, I'm shaved, whatever, right? So, and then, but I mean, he is clearly gay.
For sure.
So, you know, and he just should just accepted that. And I'm sure that guy that you remember, the leader from the Scientology, this other guy who looks like Tom Cruise, a little different as Tom Cruise, but he's the other guy from Scientology. I think he's also gay, 100%.
Yeah. I think you have to be a Scientologist. It's like a requirement.
Yeah, I mean, it's
dude. How out of touch you have to be to make Mission Impossible like 7 or whatever the fuck he was making? Like how out of touch you have to be? It's like what America's dying for right now. Another Mission Impossible. It's just like what a dumb plan.
Yeah, it's totally absurd, you know. But I mean, it will be another movie going straight to VOD. I don't know. I have the feeling that was also funny, you know, like when they all flipped out on Warner Brothers. Oh, they're releasing now everything at the same time, whatever. But what else they should do? I mean, let's face it, right? So the cinemas are kind of the half of them are bankrupt, and on the planet Earth, half of them are at least closed because of lockdowns. So what do you want to do if you spend 200 million, 300 million on the movie? You need to get all entities at the same time out. You need pay-per-view, you need pay-TV, you know, and Disney, I understand too. I mean, I hated Wonder Woman from the beginning on. I think this kind of like Wonder Woman was so hyped because it was a girl. You know, it was like the first Wonder Woman, like this kind of a woman director directs a female superhero.
Yeah, it's like girls could do stuff too, guys.
Yeah,
yeah.
Everybody felt so bad about it, so that they brought it high up, similar to what they did with Black Panther. Right?
Oh, so, yeah. No, that's pandering too.
I think Black Panther was a mediocre movie, but it got hyped for Oscar nominations. For what, right? I mean, I actually liked Thor more as Black Panther. I think it was the better film, the first Thor, because they had better character development whatsoever. And I think the Chadwick Boseman guy, he is a good actor, but he was not a great actor. I mean, he was a good actor, but he maybe was, but I have to close my door quick. It's too loud outside. Wait a second. So, you know, I think he was a very good guy. Like people loved him, right? They loved to work with him. And I think as a human being, he was great. As an actor, he didn't really have the chance to really be so great. I watched him in that, do you remember the Spike Lee movie, the Vietnam War movie? And he played the younger guy in the flashbacks in the real Vietnam War.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a solid, okay performance, but nothing special or interesting.
No, it's a movie people pretended to like so they didn't seem racist. Like, no, I love black people movies. Like, I completely love black people movies. Like, it's just a movie. I mean, it has to be good too. I mean, it's just like you can't just be like I'm black or I'm a woman and like that's your like I'm gonna need more than that, you know. I'm gonna need more than virtue signaling.
Yeah, I mean, but I have to say the Spike Lee movie, because I like Vietnam War movies in general. I love to watch that stuff. So for me, that was one of the best Netflix movies they actually did. And I hated that Charlize Theron movie, where she played that was in a sci-fi thing where she never dies and nobody of her group dies. So you lose completely interest after 20 minutes if you know that they cannot die, right? So they're getting shredded. They're like pieces on the ground. Now they reform like the Terminator basically. And I never finished the movie because I was just not really into it. Yeah. So, but I'm curious to see what they do with the Oscars. I think also the Oscars they have no real value anymore. In earlier years, the movie who won Best Movie, it really had a curve up at the box office. And today, I barely know who last year, who was the Oscar winner?
I don't know. I think it was Ricky Gervais telling everybody that Netflix should get every award. Like that's what I remember. Like out of the Academy Awards is like, or something. Like film, like the way Hollywood's dead. Hollywood's dead. It's but guys like you and I think like just the filmmakers in general that aren't in Hollywood, I think are have a way better chance. I think that nobody cares. They're all pedophiles. Like that's what we found out this year, or last year, or whatever year. We found out they're all pedophiles. They're all friends with Epstein.
Yeah. I mean, there were too many prominent people in the airplane from Jeffrey Epstein. Let's say it this way, right? So.
Yeah. So it evened the playing field a little bit. It made it a little easier to make movies right now. Like.
Yeah, but it was another interesting thing. I just read it. Like, so there were like in China, a guy got poisoned from his own co-producer, a guy from a Netflix show. And I just read in the German news that he actually died. Yesterday they said he's recovering. Today he's dead. And it's I don't know why they were fighting. I have to check the show, but there's a show on Netflix from China and then the two producers got into a fight in real life, and the guy poisoned the other one. The other guy's already arrested. So I assume Netflix ordered already season 2. Like just keep doing it. No, but it's like crazy. Like it's also this kind of like absurd world. Did you saw a lot about the Navalny poisoning, like the Russian guy who got poisoned by the yeah. And so the best thing was that he now last week was able to call one of the killers he basically had a fake number, and then he acted like he is the boss, basically the KGB, one of the bosses, and asked the killer why Navalny didn't die, right? And it turned out they put the poison in his underwear. So, and he said like if the airplane to Germany where he got treated would left like 5 hours later, he would be dead. That is what the other guy said. And he said, oh, we couldn't hold the airplane back, but then they brought him to the German hospital and then they treated him. So he survived. I'm so sorry about it. And then the best thing was that phone call was released. It's on YouTube also. It has already like 10 million views. And Putin said, oh, typical, a total complot against myself. Like, besides the fact that the poisoning was only available with the KGB. So it's not like a poison you can buy in a pharmacy or something. And then how Putin is still denying everything.
Well, he doesn't have competition, so he doesn't have to in Russia. So he sounds insane to the world. He's like, in Russia, he's just like, no, I didn't. And everybody's like, all right, don't kill me. Or like, yeah, maybe the rest of the world's like, what? Like, he seems insane, like a baby dick moron, like kind of person.
Yeah. It's like, instead of being silent about it, I mean, in early days of the Warsaw Pact, like when the East was really the East, right? They would never comment on stuff like this. Because you're better with saying nothing about it, right? If you never respond, you don't lie, and then you just ignore the Navalny guy. And now with every interview Putin is giving, like that Navalny is crazy and not him, he puts like gasoline in the fire and makes Navalny bigger.
Yeah, it gives him power by even addressing him. Yeah. He should just be like, I'm doing president shit. I don't even know that guy. Like, what? Like, it's like that's all he had to do. Like, or not even talk about it. Yeah, like you said.
Yeah, that would be better, So it's
well, Russia's never been good at much, so like take it easy on them.
Yeah, but I read another article where Russia will benefit most from the global warming actually, because with Siberia and everything.
That's funny. Yeah,
everything
I can see that.
They can have like huge agriculture and they can drive with the ships now. The ice is gone, so they basically benefit from it. Maybe with Alaska, like whoever is like basically in like a living in a world right now where because of the long winter you cannot do anything. If that changes, so you benefit from it, but whatever, Africa, Latin America, they're fucked. So that is the disadvantage.
To be fair, they already are. I'm just joking. I had to say it to be funny. I'm just fucking around. But no. I think we're going into the sun. I think Earth is spiraling into the sun. The sun has a bigger mass, so it's going to get hotter and hotter and hotter. And we're just going to fucking go into the sun. Like Earth, anyway. We should rock up. We shouldn't be stuck on this planet. Like we should have like several planets or something. Like instead of arguing over dumb shit.
No, that is the thing. It's like also the percentage I think what we saw with Corona is how fast everything can go sideways in our daily routines, that the daily routines are completely interrupted by something. And so far in the past, we had that only, for example, whatever, you're in Malibu and the fire burns you down. You can think, fuck, you know, why I'm living here in Napa Valley or wherever. But now it was the first time the whole earth was kind of affected by something. And I think that will be maybe not the last.
I mean, Australia was on fire this year. Like the entire continent of Australia was on fire. I mean, there's a lot of stuff like that. No, we've definitely seen consequences from it. I just don't think it's as man-made as we think it is. I'm not saying it's not. I think China and India's pollution output has a huge say in it, and I think other places like automobiles and stuff. I mean, I think like a lot of stuff we have a say, but I think we're literally going. The sun exceeds our mass, so I think we're getting sucked into it. Honestly, that sounds insane, but I think that, like it's just like if we're truly going around the sun.
If you see that they released also like new photos from the space like a few weeks ago with that super telescope they have, whatever, and you see totally different planets they never saw before. Totally different systems they never saw before. And I think it's actually, we don't know, I would say 10, 20% of what you could know about how is it all interconnected, right? The best line this year, there was a German talk show and there was like a mountain climber guy, Reinhold Messner. He climbed all the 8,000s, the Mount Everest, everything in his life. And he lost his brother one time in the mountains. He had to leave him, basically. It was like, we're both dead or my brother is dead. So of course, that is something he never got, you never forget that. You feel guilty for the rest of your life, right? And he said what he really learned in all his expeditions, and he walked to the North Pole and all that shit. He said, nature has no intention. That is what you learn. You know, like you bring yourself to Mount Everest, you fly yourself to space, you know, you do like, you know, like that is the saying or whatever, you know, it's like the intention comes from us, like from you individual. But I think that line, nature has no intention, that hit me in a way, because it's always, you know, when the fire burns in Malibu or whatever, the coronavirus, whatever, we always blame the virus or we blame the fire or you know, for the nature, it doesn't matter if the whole world is on fire. Yeah, no. Also, you know, for the nature, it also doesn't matter if we make a parking spot out of the Amazon rainforest. It's us who doing it, and us who suffer the consequences, because we have the emotions, we have feelings, you know, or we have plans and we have goals and whatever. So it's like, and I think that line, what he meant is, if you're all alone somewhere walking to the North Pole, he said the slightest mistake is you're dead. You know, if your wardrobe gets wet and you fall in a hole and you're wet on minus 45 and you're just alone with a slide, you will not recover from it. It's only a question of time when your leg will be frozen, then your leg falls off, whatever, you're dead. So, and he said, like, only if you go through that extreme situations, and I think a lot of people have that in the war, you know, when nothing matters as that second. Like, it's not anymore, you want to go back to your family, and, you know, like, all this shit is gone in the moment a guy is running into you with a machine gun firing at you or whatever, then nothing matters as that second. And I think we should look a little more from that perspective into what we really want and what we really need in life, you know. And I think the only good thing we can learn from the coronavirus situation is that all that globalization is maybe not good. It's not good that everybody flies everywhere nonstop, you know, and that we have like this kind of intercrossing from all kind of cultures, temperature zones. You know, it's the same, like, maybe we have to live with less travel, less consume, less packaging, less plastic, you know, and we can live with 2 flights a year. We don't need 10 flights a year per person. We don't need to, for example, in the 80s, we had a Sunday car-free day in Germany. That was because the oil crisis. So, you know, like, and people were losing their shit to say one time a month on a Sunday, nobody drives a car. You just sit at home or make walks around in the neighborhood. I think now we should think about it, what that would mean for the environment if the whole world would agree to one stupid Sunday a month not to drive. I don't think it would be a problem after we are like in a total lockdown here in Germany since November. You know, like, I mean, I would not have a problem at all to say one Sunday a month, I don't have to drive a car. And boom, if we would do this together, like America, Europe, whatever, we would meet already the Paris climate goals without suffering at all. You know, so and I think we should think about stuff like this. What makes it, what is not too hard, because we went through Corona, I think we are more willing to maybe compromise on some stuff, you know. But what I'm not compromising on is like that I really feel, as so many other people, the way the life is right now is extremely shitty. It's boring. It's like, you know, kids are out of school. I cannot go in restaurants here in Germany, whatever. I hate it. You know, I want my life back, basically. I cannot just sit at home and have like takeout and cook myself. I like socializing. I like going to the movies. I like this stuff, and I want that back, you know. So, but we should also learn a little from that 2020, that it's not all, it can be all gone in an instant. You know?
That's definitely real. No, I think that as well. It's crazy. Good perspective on that. Yeah, I know you guys have been locked down since November, you said, in Germany?
Yeah, so at November 1st, the soft lockdown starting with all the restaurants closed and all that stuff closed. But the normal stores and supermarkets were open and the schools were open. Then the numbers went up. It didn't help that the movie theaters were closed. So all that is closed, pools, gyms, all is closed since November 1st. And then on December 10, they recognized doesn't work. So they did a hard lockdown. So they said like no more schools, no more stores, only supermarkets open since December 10. So we are now basically 2.5 weeks into a harder lockdown. And now we start vaccinations in Germany too. And hopefully, middle of January, kids can go to school. I see the biggest impact is, I think, if kids have no real social life anymore. It's horrible. If you don't can get into sports, no pools, no trampoline parks, no play centers. You can't, like, you know, everything is closed. So you try to get my son here from his PlayStation away. But you think, okay, but for what? To go out in the shitty weather in the rain here right now, you know, like, I mean, it's not like, you know, stop playing the PlayStation because we go to our friend, you know, I mean.
Right, no, I get it.
Yeah, it's really, I think it's psychological. The impact on kids is psychological, extremely high. And I had I know a lot of like hardliners, they totally, isolating themselves. I'm not doing it. We still see friends and stuff like this, right? So we cook here and with friends together, whatever. But so I'm not really scared. But the reality is also, I think that what some people should understand, and in America it's similar, is if you are building your life and you have kids or you're young married, and then your economy breaks apart, you lose your job, you know, then you don't care if some 80 years old people die. I mean, you know, like that is the thing. There was a big discussion in Germany, like what is the price of life? You know, and everybody said, no, you cannot put a price on life, whatever, right? But it's not true. There is a price of life. You know, if you have a virus, what kills, let's say, mostly old, sick people, then it's only the question how long you can have everybody else not having a life at all, not having a job, like starving and don't know how to pay for the kids going to school. So what is the time schedule you can accept to say we have to protect the elderly and the sick, you know? And I'm all for it. I'm not against it. But you also cannot go in a 2 years lockdown for it.
I definitely agree. I think that I think the virus is definitely something to worry about, but I also think that like collapsing the world economy is not the solution. And I think that more people are actually affected by the precautions than the virus at this point. And I think that negatively. And I think that also like governments are using this to fuck us over. Like basically they're like, oh yeah, big scary thing, which is a threat. I'm not downplaying a threat. I'm just saying like me being a slave is not going to fix it, and the collapsing economy is not going to. Missouri's fighting it. I moved to I'm in the county mostly, and I'm still eating restaurants and shit because like I'm like fuck this stuff. Like I'm an asshole though, and I'm like even I'm like a fucking survivor, and I'm like I God bless the old. I don't think this is like a big thing like here in Missouri at least. I think it is in other places. I mean Missouri's fucking. We're in the Ozark, well, a little bit close. We're close to the Ozark Mountains. I don't know. Like there's like not many people. You know, Missouri's not that highly populated, not an international hub, not a million other things. So it's a little bit different than like I'd say Germany or Vancouver, where you're from prior. I are also from. I think those are way more terrifying to be in bigger cities. Like New York City got hit hard, New Jersey got hit hard. I mean, but I just don't see much happening here, and like Missouri's not sacrificing much. We're just kind of like, like, we're just kind of like, oh, I'm still gonna eat fucking Applebee's, you know? It's like,
but the good thing in America is that it's very spread out, right? So you have a bigger country, similar to Canada. In Canada, you have it in 3 big cities: Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal.
Canada's small. You have 30 million people in that big ass area.
Yeah,
like,
you know, and then if you live like in New Brunswick, right, where nobody ever travels, you have no tourists, why you shouldn't have everything open and normal? It's like sometimes it's a little overreacting. I mean, Germany is super dense, it's small, and has 84 million people. So in Germany, you cannot escape it. Every city is directed to the next city. So I'm driving out of my house. I'm 15 minutes away from Frankfurt. I'm 5 minutes away from Wiesbaden. So everywhere are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. So you cannot, like, you have to say in Germany, it's like one rule for everybody. There are no empty big cities or something, or big regions. Yeah. So that is clear. But what I feel also is this kind of like how they drop the ball a lot. And for example, there are good companies now. They're building this air filter machines, right? The normal air filter stuff, where with that special filters, they filter out the coronavirus. And the whole summer, everybody was sleeping because the temperature was good, the numbers were down, and everybody thought, oh, in winter, maybe we're lucky, right? So, but that is idiotic to think you're lucky, because coming back to nature has no intention, but the virus doesn't know from luck or whatsoever. The virus completely doesn't care about anything. So that is the same. Why we spent like 500 billion euro to give it to businesses who couldn't open, right? Instead of spending 10 billion euro in giving them free air filters. And then you could sit in restaurants, you could be in a movie theater, you know, but you cannot expect that businesses have enough money to pay it. So you as the government should say, look, we want that the population has a normal life. So we put that air filters everywhere in, and we're using the summertime to do it. So we are ready to go in winter. We don't have to close the school because you get the big ones and you get the small ones. So for a school class, you have the small one. And then you don't have to like open the window every 5 seconds, especially in winter when people are freezing their asses off. And then you have also this kind of, you use the technology and you spend the money for the right thing, but it didn't happen at all. You know, and then the second wave came, and in Germany, the second wave was way worse as the first wave, with like, we have around 30,000 infections a day, 800 dead a day. So Germany's numbers are now the same shit how France was, Spain, Italy, or Britain. So it's the same amount of numbers. And in the spring, Germany was way better as all the other countries because they really did a hard shutdown very early on. So, but I'm very mad that they didn't bought the air filters. And you can make people eating safe. You don't need a mask to go in the supermarket if in the supermarket that thing is on. And it filters really 99.9% of the viruses out of the air. And this money, nobody spent. And it's idiotic when you see that bailout programs in US also, like trillions and trillions of dollars got spent for a lot of things where you don't even know for what.
money laundering. It was a global money laundering scheme, dude. Like it was a weird power. They took so much advantage of this virus negatively. Like I think everywhere, man. Like I didn't realize you guys had similar things like bailouts and stuff too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it so China doesn't buy all of our companies. I think that's a lot of it because like they're eyeballing the world right now, and and I think that's the biggest threat to them. I mean that's what Canada's like you were talking about like I think one of the times I was talking about the Canada mob and stuff. Like I think our Chinese mob in Canada or whatever. I think like that was I think that's getting bad up there too. It's getting bad everywhere, but I think like that's the biggest thing. Is like I mean so the global economy collapses and China's fine and just comes out. I mean half the world's population. I don't trust that at all. Like I'm not playing that game. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but that is also, I just read last week, there came a huge, like from a big management consulting company, they did like a 2050 prediction, like what's happening in the next 30 years from the global point of view. And if you see their numbers, then you basically think, oh my God, we're so fucked, right? So because of course, the West, like America, Europe, we're basically toast. You know, China will leave us all behind. I mean, there is nothing what can stop that actually. There are just too many people. Then you have India, Indonesia, whatever, they're also over 1 billion people each. And Africa will grow 1 billion people more in Africa. And during you have Europe, like kind of stagnant. Right, every family gets 1 kid max or whatever, 1.5 kids. So
we're selfish. We're like I'm never having kids. I can never have like 20 of them. Like
it's maybe good that you don't. And no, but it's really like when you see just numbers, and you go through the numbers, and you say, okay, but at the same time, where I see the population grows everywhere, and the population grows in more in the third world, the ex-third world is exploding. And they will all consume, right? They will all put CO2 in the air. They all want to travel now. They all want to drive cars in China. And like 30 years in China, you had like 15 billion bicycles. Now they're all driving cars. Yeah. So it's like, I don't really know how we want to save then the planet. Like, I really don't know what we want to do to have less or the green energy revolution in North America and Europe will bring nothing if they don't do it also.
Right, and they're the biggest like China and India are the biggest like violators of these things. They're breathing poison when they walk around. I mean, they need masks there just for the pollution. You know, it's like it's insane. And I hope it doesn't go to conflict, but I just see China line stepping on everybody, man. They got railroads all the way through Europe right now. They got they're enslaving like South African countries and making them build cities. They're trying to take America's economy right now. I think the world's going to bitch smack them, honestly. I think they're getting too aggressive and they're too greedy. And I think that basically, had they played the long game, we'd be speaking Mandarin pretty soon. Yeah, like, but they're trying to go too fast, man. And like the world's not going to deal with that, I don't think. And I hope it doesn't go aggressively. I hope it comes like to a peaceful resolution. But
no, but the only chance would be that you have a revolution inside of China against the government.
Which as Americans, we're really good at that.
Yeah.
We're the best.
Somebody. Yeah. Now we know remember the Democrat candidate for presidency, the Chang guy? Or whatever. What was his name?
Yeah, Andrew Yang.
He has to go back to China. And even if he's Korean, I think he's Korean, but it doesn't matter. He should just go and do the counter-revolution plan, right? So, and the thing in Hong Kong, that young guys who were protesting, they're all now in jail. But it was kind of a little mini revolution going on in Hong Kong, where you need that in Beijing, Shanghai. You need a younger generation who are already addicted to TikTok and Instagram and whatever, and they need to free China. That will be bloody, right? So, I mean, they will not move without like a real, like on the ground fighting inside revolution, but it would be the best thing what could happen. And then you renegotiate all the trade deals and all that stuff, and you don't get sucked out anymore. That was one of the few things I completely supported Trump, right? So I think the hard stand against China is absolutely necessary. And I think most of the other countries, they're always sucking up to China because they're just making too much money with it.
Right.
They don't see how much they lose their ability. You know, that you're not getting, you get the product back, but they get all the dollars and getting richer and richer. And then they produce the same cars like the West and don't need the German cars anymore. And they don't need the iPhone anymore. You know, then they have Huawei and all that stuff. It's like, that is the thing where they slowly coming into town and learn and nice and consume and take. And then they're telling you, you're done. Like,
yeah, that's what they did to several countries, man. Like, I mean, that's what they did. Like, I totally see it too. Now nobody sees that. I'll try to tell people about China. They're like, what? I'm literally like, are you fucking kidding me? Like they just print money, man. They took over most countries. I mean, they banned all of our souls, all big tech's owned by China right now. They just print money and they censor it. And like, I mean, you can't believe in God in America right now. Like, basically, if you say you love God and you love America, they're like, ban him immediately. You know, it's like insane. It's very communist. I mean, statues being knocked down, the fake protests, like all this shit. You mean it's just like fucking like not fake, but staged, and just they're playing us right now, and I'm watching it happen. I'm like, what? Like it's weird, man. I can't believe so many people are just cool with this. Like, it kind of irritates me, to be honest. Like, I think the world's gonna have to like.
But you know, that is also a thing where Putin was active, and now the Chinese too. You have all the leaks, all the hacking. Everywhere, right? So they do that non-stop. Of course, they always deny it, but they do it and do it and do it. And it's all about destabilizing. And they did a good job, right? Look how destabilized America is.
The world, yeah. I mean, they're taking the world though.
With misinformation, with totally different opinions, and they were really able to make in that Trump time with the election time to make people hate other Americans way more as anybody else.
No, definitely.
People had the things on Trump, Putin, right? They would vote for Putin. So ignoring what Russia is, ignoring what Russia is doing. And that is the thing. I think that the biggest asset we have here is that we can say this, what we just saying.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have now after you release our interview, if we would be in Turkey, if we would be in Russia, China or whatever, we don't know what would happen to us after. And you know, and that is the thing. And I feel you remember when I sent you the stuff from the Iranian film festival who wanted to invite me, right? So, right. You know, it's like we want to play a Soul of Wall Street in Tehran. And then I had that exchange with them where I basically said, look, I cannot come because of Corona, but in reality, of course, I don't want to go to Tehran. You know, and I said, like, you executed like a 12-year-old girl because she did like TikTok videos. Right? Yeah, that was counterterrorism, right? Or then I said you had that Olympic wrestler executed 2 months ago, because he killed a guy in Holland or whatever. Like they're having one excuse after the other, and they don't get it. What I was coming from, that you don't execute people for minor crimes or saying the truth or saying something against the government. There is no reason. There should be no law, and that is the same stuff. When you see like in Turkey, where there was a German dentist, he went on holidays like 4 weeks ago to Turkey, and he was at the luggage claim. And he said to a Turkish woman standing there that they are not living here in a democracy, basically, because Erdogan is a dictator. Right? They arrested him at the airport, and he was like 10 days in jail, like a normal tourist. And then they gave him 1.5 years jail, but on probation. So the German government got him out, right? And was flying, they flowed him out of Turkey right away. But now he could not enter Turkey anymore, of course, right? So, and I insulted Erdogan a few years ago, and I would get 100% arrested if I fly to Turkey now, because I'm 100% on the list, you know, like Boll is an asshole and hates our Erdogan guy, you know. But I mean, normally I would say everybody with a brain should hate a guy like Erdogan, you know. And there comes the thing why they are in the NATO. I mean, you know, like if I'm a German dentist, I get arrested because I say something in a luggage claim. This kind of country we have in the NATO.
Yeah, that's insane.
That is insane. That is
no, it is.
insane and and really, really bad. You know, like it's idiotic. And so that is also, I think, where what we should learn from the Trump times is you can do a lot more. As the other people like Obama were always hiding behind, my hands are bound, I cannot do anything because the Congress and the Senate, they have to agree to whatever, right? And I think Trump showed that you can do all kinds of shit. But nobody stops you if you just you make a decision and you do it. And then of course they try to stop you, they try to delay you, but a lot of times they can't, and I, I have that totally like twisted relationship with that 4 years of Trump, because I feel that if you would do a lot of other decisions similar to what a Trump character would do, you could do a lot of great things. You could, do a lot of things, and then you tell the opposition, try to bring them back or something, right? So that is what I think, what I admire, that he had the balls to do massive big decision, gave a shit. I hoped only that he would do a lot of more positive decisions about a lot of other things, but. And I'm also absolutely pro-Trump in regards of Middle East. I think he did a good job with Israel. He made it more peacefully. He took the troops out. That was so idiotic. All that discussed for 10, 12 years. Everybody, look, German troops are also still in Afghanistan, right? So, and everybody since 12 years, what the fuck are we doing with it? Like in the very end, the Taliban take over. You're not really changing countries like this with having some troops somewhere and say, no, we give you a McDonald's Happy Meal and everything is different. It's not. It's like you spend so much money, and then in the end, it ends always the same. Like you, at one point you say, oh, come, we're leaving. And then you have the same situation like you 20 years ago. So, and I agree with removing the troops. I agree. Why spending more money for stupid fights inside of the Middle East? It never led to anything positive there. For nothing.
No, I agree. It's not positive. I think what they're doing, I think they built a 3-country oil pipeline. I think they're guarding it. And I think that all the troops there are just guarding an oil pipeline. And also the poppy trade, the heroin epidemics in most countries right now, they're selling heroin to countries. I think the CIA and military in general are basically just trafficking drugs and oil and and a bunch of things. It's a huge operation for money, and that's why it costs money, is because they're literally lying to us, and they make it sound like it's for like you're laughing at the narrative they give you because it's ridiculous. Like the narrative's insane. Like we're protecting them, like whatever they tell us is bullshit. They're basically just making a lot of money off of that, in my opinion. I think they're insane. They just kill those people, man. They just fuck them up like just for oil, dude. It's like insane. Like
so, but then. It looks like that Trump wants to remove the troops means he didn't get the cut out of it.
Yeah, they didn't pay on time.
You want the troops there? I want 20% of the
yeah.
So something like that, they forgot that to offer that to Trump, then the troops would be still there, right? So,
I think he's telling all the people that sold out America, and I think that's what everybody's pissed about. I think the media has turned on him since day one, and I don't think he's a perfect individual by any means, but I do think that he does a lot of good things. I mean, I think he ended the Korean War to the Koreans. They thought they were still fighting the Korean War against us. I mean, he's just like, he shook his hand on his soil and stuff like a man. And I think like he did a lot of good things. I think his temperament and how the world views him is kind of fucked up. And I think that how America's not working as one is fucked up. Because I mean, like the divide, I think China's paying for the divide. So I think they're pumping money into our media and making Republicans and Democrats fight each other. So they're trying to start a civil war, and then they're trying to invade. I think it's Russia, China, and Iran trying to invade after a civil war. After 2 years of a civil war, I predict. That's what they're trying to do.
No, that is true, right? So, but that is what I said. Like the other side of Trump is that he's just not able to see another perspective on things.
Yeah.
And to be a very good politician or leader in general, you have to be able to go in the other people's footsteps or the other people's position, and don't come always like the elephant in the porcelain room, right? So it's this kind of with the trade with Europe, the trade war with Europe. I mean, what the fuck is this? It doesn't bring anything. It's like Europe the EU has 440 million people, the US 330, and they exchange a lot of goods. Yeah, there are more cars from Europe coming into America as American cars to Europe, but look at all the computers. Look at all the, look at all the content, like Hollywood and whatsoever. Like, I think it's an even playing field between Europe
I like Europe. Yeah, no, I like Europe.
Yeah, so, and he should never had all that fighting with Merkel and all the others that nobody likes him in Europe anymore. I think he's just kind of like, he cannot help himself as to get trouble with everybody. And
yeah, that is a problem. It's perception. Like, yeah, because it works for like radio or something, but like when you're president, you have to deal with some bigger deals. Yeah, no, I could definitely see temperament being stupid and like how like yeah, we should have a better perception like as a leader. I think he's a strong leader. I do think the media portrays him like fucked up, and I do think he does put his foot in his mouth with like world leaders. But it's a bold move sometimes, but sometimes it works. Sometimes it's overstepping. I think we need more peaceful leaders and people that care about like I would listen more so to people rather than just talk. I feel like I would like if I was trading with Europe, I would like ask what they wanted and stuff. I would just like figure out. I'd work. I don't know. You have to work with everybody, man. We're all on this rock together,
Yeah, exactly. And that is the thing. It's like one of the things I felt. I think the core in a world where China now pops up as the main force. The only Europe together with America and Canada have a counterbalance. Alone, both are too small, right? So think about together, it's like we're talking about 800 million Europeans and North Americans. That is massive.
That's what's gonna have to happen. Like Australia, like they're picking on a lot of countries, and like it's gonna. I mean, you look at the South China Sea; they're just claiming it by building islands, man. Like they're just building islands and putting bases there and stuff. And I'm like, that's their trade route and money system. That's like where they're making all their money. And like it's like insane. I hope it doesn't come to war. It looks like it though. Like I just hope, and I also hope an American Civil War doesn't happen before a World War, because like that would just weaken us. Like we'd lose like Russia in the First War or something. Like really bad if we don't watch that shit.
Yeah, I mean, but that was also the thing where I think, what I think is with Trump right now, I think what he's doing is he collects money, like from all the people supporting him. I'm not leaving, I won. So
I don't like that, yeah.
And his family, we all know his family is totally corrupt. They're just grabbers. They're just taking the money in. So he has a war chest in a way. He has some money in his hands after, because he knows people will go after him. The taxes, the state attorneys. He needs money to survive. So, and that is what they're doing right now. But where he was completely irresponsible is this kind of like putting gasoline in the fire, right? I was surprised that we didn't have actually shootouts. Like in December, I felt like it's only like one little thing, and you would have actually real shootouts on the streets, like with guns, and not anymore with like shields or whatever. Look, your cat is.
So I think they're trying to. I think they're trying to provoke us, man. They're trying to provoke that, but Americans aren't stupid. Like Americans are very like anti. Like Americans are portrayed as very dumb and fat and foolish, like on a world stage, because that's how we act drunk. And but I think that I think most Americans, when it comes down to it, are very used to this bullshit. We're like, we just see it and we're like, we're just kind of like we're always trying to figure it out. Like I think we're not good at being told what to do. We're not good at being enslaved. We're not good at we all have guns. We're not good at getting killed. It's just like it's like a crazy. I don't know, man. Like, it's a crazy world.
No, I think in the very end, I think it was a very positive thing that the people were not getting provoked in a way that they started shooting, right? So,
I think, yeah.
Because you had a lot of times where, a guy is there with his AK, and then you have a demonstrant from the Antifa yelling in his face for 5.5 hours, and he still, and he still didn't shot him.
Right.
That was very wise.
Right.
Because your life is then over too, because if you start shooting on the streets, you will get shot or you will be incarcerated for murder, and I think it was good that they had the discipline not to lose their shit. And, but I think Trump did a very bad example to it. We know all Trump is a pussy. He would never win a real fight. He would never, he was never a fighter in his life. or he would also, I don't think he ever shot a gun or whatsoever. And so he is all talk. He's a New Yorker guy from Queens who was born as a millionaire, and was a womanizer his whole life. So he's not a strong, real, let's say, he on the streets, he would run first. So that is the thing. But he acts like when he talks to these people and the Proud Boys and all that, whatever groups, right? He acts like I'm one of you, but he's not. I mean, he was never one of them, and he's using them in a way, and he also never did anything for poor people. I mean, he didn't help the poor. He didn't help the sick. He didn't, that is the thing. It's like, I don't see him taking care of, look at his pardons now. Who gets pardon in the end of his time? As all the people are in jail because of him and the election process or whatever, right? But he said also, and I remember he said a year ago, a lot of black people are innocent in jail, right? So why not pardoning them? Why not saying, you know what? Everybody who is in jail for drug possession is out. Like everybody can go. I think that would be a great move. And I think that would be a move Obama should have done, but he didn't. And that is why as you know, when you watch Rampage, right, I criticized Obama a lot, and Clinton and Tohn in Rampage, right? I think they were both, Clinton was worse, but I think also Obama was all talk. He's a great talker, but when he didn't put things really into action. And he had all the power for 8 years to do like one executive order after the other. And I think you cannot talk about prison reform, and then you're a black president, and you have 2 times president, and you don't pardon like 100,000 blacks.
Yeah, that'd be a bold ass move. That'd be a bold ass move. I bet that would work. I mean, but the problem, his vice president put half of them in there. like with the crime bill and stuff. I mean, like these people. I mean, and plus they probably have stock in privatized prisons. A lot of these monsters. I mean, I think like a lot of these guys probably profit from it. Like, the gangster raps like on an advertising platform for it, and then they put everybody in. They're like, yeah, you write an American rite of passage is committing a crime and going to jail. Then they pitch it to these kids, and then they just make money off it. I mean, it's a money scheme. That's why they don't do anything, and then they're paid for by the private interests. I mean, I think like Obama's like a puppet for private interests, and like all these other people. And then Trump said no to lobbyists, but then like all of his people became lobbyist magnets. You know what I mean? So then like Trump's like, I'm not meeting with any lobbyists. And then like everybody works for him. If he has a secretary, they're getting bombarded by Pfizer. If he has if he has the person that walks his dog's getting hit up by Monsanto. You know what I mean? It's like, like he's making a lot of rich people around him from lobbyists, which is my problem. I think, but I think he did. I like Trump, but I'm Republican. So I back the party right now. But I think like there's room for improvement for sure. And I think Rampage is probably why you got invited to Iran for the film festival.
My question to you is then what you would do now after Trump with the Republican Party? Like what kind of candidate they should grow for in 4 years? I mean, Trump is really too old in 4 years, and I don't think we should go another time through the madness. I think it should be a real Republican who has his shit together who should run.
I think like we got a good senator out of here, Josh Hawley. I think he might be an American president eventually. I'm not sure the time frame, but like he's kind of strong. But also, I mean, I'm not ruling out for Trump yet, honestly. I mean, they got a lot of election fraud, like a video and all this shit. I mean, I'm not ruling it out for. This is a weird election year. It's a weird cycle. It's weird. The astrology. Speaking of astrology, I'm tired. Speaking of how the universe is right now, it's a weird time. So I mean, I wouldn't rule out anything right now. Like that, I wouldn't rule out a Trump win, honestly, at this point. I wouldn't put $100,000 on it or something. I wouldn't put money, I wouldn't put money on it, but I'm not ruling it out. You know what I mean? I wouldn't rule out that, I mean, you see, I just feel like, there's so much video just going around of all these people cheating at the election right now. And the media's not covering it yet, but
think about, how many people from the Republican Party got, basically dumped from Trump, like he shit on them. And look at Jeff Sessions.
Yeah.
Right? First, he was his right-hand guy. He loved him. They were working together. Then he says something negative and then run him as a candidate. And Trump back, the other guy hated him, says Jeff Sessions was the biggest piece of shit I ever saw. And he did that basically with a lot of higher-end Republicans.
For sure.
why they should support him again, or what, like, I mean, it's really like, you cannot treat people like this if you want that they vote for you, or that they support you if you want to run again, or whatsoever. I mean, it's really, yes, in his first run, he basically crashed the competition, attacked Cruz and insulted them. Then they were all scared of him, so they supported him. They want to be like, we want to win the election, we support now Trump. And then 4 years, he basically kept trashing them. He kept not working with them. He kept overstepping their thing. The only person he really, in a way, played ball with was Mitch McConnell, right? So he needed him for all kinds of stuff, to get the judges in and all that stuff. So he played with him, but everybody else got more insulted by him. And I mean, if I would be a senator and I get nonstop insulted by my own party member president, I would not back him again. I would say, like, yeah, you know what, your time is up, and now we have to do a cleanse. It was a guy in Tennessee, whatever, from the Republicans. The guy has an ear thing from the war. What is it?
Dan Crenshaw. I'm fucking tired. Dan Crenshaw, I think.
Yeah, but he's good.
He's all right. He's a good talker.
Yeah, good. Exactly. I like. He was even at Bill Maher, right? So I mean, at the Enemy's talk show host. But he was really good there, and he was really neutral, right? So he was like saying his own ideas, his own motivations, and he was criticizing Trump, but still supporting him at the same time, because he didn't want to bury his political career and give Trump total shit. But the guy like this, he is a war guy, but he's intelligent. He is, like, he has more a feeling for the working class as a Trump ever would have. And I think that is what the Republicans should get next. But I let you sleep now. Come, it's so late.